Hello and welcome. Good morning, guys. This is going to be fun. We are looking at this real pretty, very simple looking cup with a periwinkle type flower, pretty blue, little spoon, and a napkin. Very basic, very fun. This is from my 30 Cozy Creative Hand-Drawn Designs. This one right here is the Amazon book that you can purchase and have sent to you. This one here is the instant download that you can get from Teespring. The link is up in the chat and down below in the more information box. All of my materials are down below in the information box also. I've got the Hanamula bamboo mixed media paper and the core watercolors. And you know what? I didn't even go to my desk wide view. Hi guys. Wow, I got right into it, didn't I? Welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and this is day whatever it is of my 30 designs from that massive marathon that was done on New Year's Eve. Good morning and welcome. Yay, people are coming in. Oh, and you can see my background here. I opened the green screen because I cleaned up the counter behind me. I'll give you a little peek of my, peek of my little studio space there. Boom. This is my desk area behind my worktop. I just have to get my phone set back up and start recording. There we go. All right. Yay, guys. Thank you. All right. We're going to be doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun. There is going to be some Zentangly doodling, maybe. I'll show you why in just a second. Here we go. We are going to be doing this lovely reference. This is from Unsplash. And the picture right here, right there, has a real pretty simple pattern in white on top of a red background. I did not draw it on here first. I think I'm going to go ahead and figure that pattern out real quick. So I got a pencil and I'm looking at it. It's kind of fun to figure out patterns too. Let's zoom in. And it's not going to be exactly the same. That's okay. I don't want to have to do a lot of erasing. I do have a kneaded eraser right here that I can use for erasing. I will zoom that up and get that a little bit bigger so we can see the pattern on the cup. Now the pattern on the cup is a hexagonal design, and I was playing right here, just on a scrap piece of paper, to sort of come up with it's a basic design. Now, I do not profess to be a pattern tangling wizard. I want to get a straight or even grid on first, and then we will do the diagonals. I am not measuring it. I am these are about probably less than half an inch, about a centimeter apart. So we've got the stripe lines going down. And now that grid right there, I don't think uses a sideline. I'm going to do my horizontal line grid also, just so I can get kind of an even spacing when I do my diagonal grid lines. Again, I don't know how this is going to turn out. This is just, I could just do it a checkerboard. Look at that. So I want you to notice, because I'm doing it on a curved surface, I want the feel of it to wrap around. So I'm slightly curving my lines. My lines are slightly curved, and they're following the shape of that rim because that's giving me that feel of it wrapping around. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go in and make these little diagonal lines. The diagonal lines are going to help me make my hexagons. And these are all going to be erased. I mean, all of my pencil grid will all get erased, but it gives me I have to have a path. That's why this isn't true Zentangle, although we're being very zen with our picture. It is not Zentangle. I am basically pattern tangling. This would be more along the lines of what you would find on the pattern-collections.com. I believe that's the website. And I need my diagonals that are going the other direction also. See? So that way I can find my hexagons in here. Or diamonds. Maybe I'll do it with diamonds. I could do it on a diamond pattern. That'd probably be easier for everybody, I think. Maybe we'll do it on diamonds. It's going to be white on top of the red. I am going to make this cup a red cup with a black band. I like that kind of oriental feel that you get from that. This right here, if you were with me in January, this is very much the pattern that we did on the my brain just went dead. The pattern that we did on the 3-dimensional pressed glass. Hello, hello. Oh, and Johannes, coming in at 8:30 in the morning and saying first doesn't make you first in the chat. You have to be here the whole time if you were there first. Yeah, just saying, I saw you. Actually, I didn't see you. Mark saw you. So I think I am going to go with the diamond pattern. And I think we will probably be doing it maybe long diamonds like this. So I'm not going to put a dot on every intersection. I want to end up with these longer, so I'm skipping every other diamond. Just, this was just a real quick little pattern, wasn't it? It didn't take us very long to put that in. And then what I'll do is I'll step down, and the diamonds between are going to get and then the diamond between. So this one here, not that, and that's there. So that one right there would. Isn't that pretty? Very, very sweet, very delicate. Doesn't have to be hard to get this in. Yeah, things are going well. Things are going well. Sometimes we have those days and we have those weeks. And last week was kind of one of those weeks, wasn't it? Ups and downs, highs and lows. But you guys are always my high spot. You guys are really my high spot. I really enjoy getting to come in here and hang out with you. I'm just cleaning up some of those lines on the inside since I do want to paint it in. I'm just cleaning up some of those lines. I'm trying to decide if I want to draw them. I don't want to draw the white before. So there. But I don't want to draw the white in pen either. So good morning. So there we are. All right, guys, just looking. Excellent. Okay, things are going well. People are moving along with this. Y'all are getting your design time on. We're going to get this in, and because this has a lovely soft background, I am going to put it in with a lovely soft background. I do want the contrast. I want that contrast, that strong contrast. I'm lightening up. If you take your eraser, your kneaded type eraser, you can roll it over your graphite and it will pick up all of the loose graphite. So now you can still see the pattern, and if you're right on top of it like I am, you can really still see the pattern, but it lightens it up so the graphite doesn't get into the paint. We're going to get the background put in now. So I am taking a 1-inch flat wash brush. So 1-inch flat Simply Simmons wash. And there we go. So we've got that all designed. Whoa, my brush is dirty. That was weird. There, we got that picked up off of there. That was weird. All right. It wasn't the water. It was the brush. So what color should we do the background? I'm looking at the chat, watching the chat. If you guys have a suggestion for color that you want to see on the background, needs to go with red and blue. I could make it a soft yellowy golden glow. Maybe I'll do that. So it's using primary colors, but it's not going to be crayon primary colors. Kind of like that soft glow. Makes it feel warm and cozy. Just getting that water on there, letting it soak in. This is the bamboo paper. It's not actual watercolor paper, so I am getting it probably too wet. So let's just dry my brush off and sort of suck up some of that water. I'm taking and wiping my brush off on my paper towel, just to sort of suck some of that water up. Got the background really wet. But that's okay. That's okay. So there we go. All right, so that is cleaned up water, no puddles. Now, I did forget to get my paint wet, so just getting my whole palette wet. This is the Core Watercolors by Golden. Link is down below in the more information if you're interested. I could easily have done this with the super inexpensive palette also, and that's down below too. Since I use it all the time, I'm kind of putting those two down below. How about a violet plant? Oh yeah, I love like the African violets or like the Johnny Jump Up violets. Or wild violets from the garden. All right, so I'm going to go with a touch of that. Whoa, that cadmium yellow is a bright yellow. Look at that. I'll just put some right there on the side of my board. And I'm going to come in here and drop some of that in around the cup. I want kind of a soft, warm, just a tint on this background. So we're just going to tint that background in. I'm going to move that color around. Look at that. We're not putting a ton of color. It looks like it, but it's not. It's going to dry a lot softer. I want a little bit of color just so that we've got something for so that the margin shows up. I like that white margin around the picture. So just a little touch, maybe a little bit of the quinacridone gold and sort of I'm just tapping some of that quinacridone gold into the background. Quinacridone gold is probably going to end up being the tea color, so it's sort of like tea got splattered. I like that. Maybe a little touch. Boom. Ooh, I love when that goes whoosh. That's one of the things with this paint, is that it swooshes really well. And swoosh is a word as far as my words go. Just a little bit. It's not brown, it is gold. I like that. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of burnt sienna into that gold. And I think I'm going to drop some of that right in here in the cup. Since it's away from the background, I can do that, right? I can go ahead and get a little bit of that in here and a touch more of the gold, I think. Break it down just a little bit. So we've got some lovely Japanese or Chinese tea in that cup. All right. So this is soft. This is pretty. Maybe I'll even take some of that color and just drop it underneath the edge really softly of the napkin, that cloth napkin on the table. Maybe a touch of the burnt sienna into it, make it a little bit darker. I want to keep this kind of light and fresh. I don't want to get it too heavy and worked. I'm not too worried about making this look like a realistic, the shadows and things like that, making them realistic. I'm just sort of putting a little bit of something in so it feels like there's a tiny bit of weight to it. I don't need it to be super heavily weighted, but I am just, let's see. Let's move to that other view. The other view. Let's move to that other view. Let's see. And it looks like that might just be too bright. So we're not going to use the other view today. This one is just right. This one actually is showing you what I see. So I'm just running this right along the edge of the napkin, that cloth on the table. Get a little bit of that here and there. Calm and take this kind of painting, you can do it really quickly or you could take your time. It's all up to you. It's all up to I'm going to take a little Van Dyke Brown, I think. Just want to deepen the shadowy bit down inside just a little bit. There we go. You look at it and you go, oh, well, what am I doing? How am I going to get there? And just let your mind make some choices. And, even if you make the wrong choice or what you think is the wrong choice, just kind of play with it and go with it. Remember, it's just a piece of paper. Just a piece of paper. Like, I went a little bit too dark right there. Boom. Now it's not too dark. Just a piece of wadded up paper towel and tapped it. Now it's not too dark. So just relax as you're doing this. Relax. I think a little bit of that quinacridone gold and maybe a little nickel azo yellow is going to go in on the spoon. This is a very warm painting. So some nickel azo yellow in on the spoon. This is like a tarnished a tarnished spoon. So it's got a little bit of that silver tone to it, but it's also tarnished, which is sort of a yellow, warm patina. I like that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, do I have some burnt umber? Oh, I do. Burnt umber is this one right here. See how that's going to be that lovely patina right around the edge? Looking at the shadows, and I'm kind of blocking the shadows in. Bonjour, mes amis. Miss Amy. Thank you. Happy to have deliberately creative time. Aw, thank you, Linda. Yeah, you know, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share this time with you guys. I had a lovely community member contacted me, one of my patrons, and they were a little bit concerned that I was maybe not having as much fun with what I'm doing. And I wanted to, you know, I did email them right back and say, oh yes, I'm having fun. I'm doing what I want to do. There's going to be, you know, there's always changes because I'm always trying to figure out the YouTube algorithm and what YouTube likes and will promote. And right now, they like my Monday morning shows a lot. Maybe because it's after a weekend when I haven't had a video for a couple days. But YouTube seems to like my Monday shows and seems to share my Monday shows a little bit more. It feels a bit like they are, well, you know, YouTube being YouTube, it doesn't always make any sense. Always make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. Hardly ever. Looking at that, going, I'll have some working going on to this to get it to come in as a spoon that I want to see. So let's see. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Amy. Hey, Julie. Devontic. Karen. And Karen. Karen J, and Karen R. Welcome, welcome. Aw, thank you. Linda, you are the best. You are the best. There we go. So I'm just looking at this going, I'm looking at that reference and I'm trying to look at it and see that spoon. I want to get it as big as I can so we can still see the spoon that I'm painting. So I think what I did is I got a little too dark right down here and I didn't pull that dark bit there down deep enough. So if we go like this, that pulls that in. See, now I'm kind of refining it just a little bit, putting some color in. I've got that pen line in there is kind of distracting me, and there's not much I can do. Once you've put your pen lines in and you've put paint down, it's a little bit tricky to fix it. Now, my handle is not as detailed, which is fine with me because I did go for the detail on the cup. I'm using that very tip of the brush to go in and give me some of that darker shadow. Since I put my spoon underneath of the edge of that leaf, I need to have a shadow there. A little bit in the handle, leaving some white and some light. So it might feel like there's a little bit of detail there. Down around this bottom edge, I'm going to color it in. And that's what this really is. This is coloring in. This is not, you know, because we have the drawing down already, you can make it just as straight coloring in as you want. This edge right here needs to be darker. So put a little bit more of that. Right at the very top edge of that spoon is a little darker. See, I'm looking at it, I'm going, where's my darks? Where's my lights? And I'm just going back and forth. Well, Miss Amy, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Brandy, it comes up. on a lot of them. I'm not sure, but welcome, Brandy. I'm so glad you're here. So fun seeing your comments, guys. I am so grateful for all the comments that people have been leaving. This weekend, I saw comments, but I wasn't really replying to them. I'll be going through and replying to comments today after I get all the iCards and everything's linked up onto this show. After the video is done processing. That's a hard word. Processing. You know, when you've got a bit of a speech impediment and you work really hard to speak very clearly. My speech impediment is that I lisp. I have a kind of a lazy S, and part of it's the shape of my mouth, and part of it is just when I get tired, my tongue gets tired and lazy. I think that's enough on that spoon. I really do. I think maybe a little bit darker right here at the bend. I'm just picking up some of that Van Dyke brown, just straight from the palette. Try and put a little bit darker right there at the bend. And a couple dots of it a little bit darker right up along this top edge. And then we'll come down and we'll put that shadow in underneath. Isn't it pretty? That came from Unsplash. And I have on Unsplash, I have a January cups and tea or cozy tea and coffee as one of my collections. And it's a public collection, so you can definitely access it. I'm going to take a touch of the Payne's Gray. I'm going to put some Payne's Gray on it's just on the edge of my palette right there. Just a touch of it. And I'm going to make my little shadow. It's going to come down, around, and cool thing, if you have a wobbly shadow, it just makes your fabric that it's laying on look wobbly. And then the handle is coming back like this. Because if you look in that reference, it wobbles. Now my spoon is tipped up, it looks like a little bit. Maybe the spoon bowl is a little bit bent. But it's part of the charm of this. It's part of the charm. I'm going to smooth out that little bit right there. Going back on it again towards the back edge of it where it's touching. So that shadow feels a little bit darker. That is cool. That is very, very cool. And once you start seeing something like that happen, don't mess with it. I'm not going to mess with that shadow. That shadow is that shadow now. I am going to take that same color and we're going to zoom this back down a little bit so that we can see the edge of the cloth napkin. Oh, I do need to have that so you can still see the edge. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. We do need to see the edge, so I need to just make it smaller. You see the edge of that napkin. You've got a harder line underneath, and now this paper is a little cool, but it's not soaking wet anymore. I'm going to use that same Payne's Gray, very watered down, and I'm going to go in and say, it's easier to pull a line than it is to push a line, so I'm going to pull this shadowy line. That's very light. I need more. I need more color. Not that much. I don't want to put a super harsh shadow in yet, but it's a darker shadow. And I'm just using the very tip of the brush to go in, get that folded over bit of fabric there, shadow right up inside. There's a shadow inside the folded fabric here. Oops, right in here. So I'm going to put it at the end of that. And there's a shadow that's a darker shadow right along the edge of the underside. And you know, if you end up with your shadow, like I said before, wobbling around a little bit, it's okay, because it's fabric, and fabric is organic type material. It's a movable material. It's soft furnishings, basically. So something soft, a little bit on there. You don't see a lot of shadow underneath of it, but you know, on that back edge. And I am going to now come out away from that shadow just a little bit, and I'm going to soften that edge. That was just with some clean water. I did not actually use dirty water on that. I just put clean water and allowed that color to sort of drift out. And soften it up and let it blur out just a little bit. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. Now, something I'm looking at here, I'm going, I don't think that shadow right there should be quite so extended. I'm going to get it wet and blot. There. Let's zoom out so we can see this better now. See? Oh, it's looking so pretty. You can stop at any point in a painting. You can stop and say, ooh, take a look at that. Feel, you know, look at it. Does it feel like how you're wanting it to feel? This is feeling exactly how I'm wanting it to feel. I think I want to go ahead and get some of the red and the shadow for the cup in. And then we can start working on the flower. I might put, even though this napkin is white, I might put a color stripe, very soft color striping in. And I'm looking at that going, the background kind of blurred into my, oops, didn't want that. The background kind of blurred into the cloth napkin a little bit. So I'm just wiping it out a little and pulling my hair off that I just put on there. See how that's blurred up in? I don't want it there so much. You can lighten it. You might not get all that color off, but you know, or I might just make that into a gray stripe. Ooh, I think maybe gray striping. And since I'm here and I've got that gray, I might make it a little bit more blue. So all I did was take the Payne's gray and a little bit of ultramarine blue. And I'm going to go ahead just because I want to, and not because of, this is not in the reference, but I'm putting kind of a gray-blue stripe on in the cloth napkin, just to give it a little bit of interest. It also gives us a place to make a slightly darker shadow right there underneath of the flower. So all I did was pick up a little bit more concentrated version of that color. And then Maybe a little bit darker around that edge there. This is watercolor. This is, you can put it on in layers and come up with all kinds of variations with one color. You could do the entire painting with one color if you wanted to, and just do it a tonal painting. So have fun, and remember, it's paper and a little bit of paint. You are able to experiment and enjoy the process. Don't worry. You know, look at it and go, ooh, what happens if I do whatever? What happens when I put a little bit more Payne's gray straight from the pan right underneath of those leaves and that flower on that stripe? That's pretty. Now, thinking about it ahead of time, I'm going to go ahead and use that same color of gray and sort of put in a little bit of a wobbly shadow underneath put in a little bit of a shadow under the flower, getting some of those petals, maybe a little bit of a shadow under the edge of that handle. Maybe there's a little bit of a shadow where that leaf is. Look, just experiment, say, ooh, well, what happens if I try that? And remember, you're painting on top of a piece of cloth, so it can be wobbly, and you can have all kinds of variation. And it's okay. This would be really pretty done with the alcohol markers. If you're somebody who does alcohol markers, this would be a really pretty one to do with alcohol markers. And that's one of the things with, I'm going to do my commercial now, guys. Let that dry for a second. One of the things with this book is that these designs, yeah, my cover is starting to bend up because I'm using this a lot. The designs are very simple and clean and leave you lots of room to do all kinds of beautiful color shading and transitions, or doing just straight coloring. And they were all drawn by me live in front of a studio audience, actually in front of a live YouTube chat room. So there's 30 designs in here, all kinds of fun things. And the next one after, oh yeah, those waffles were yummy. The jars of flowers. So all of these designs, this is the one that was the cover design. And that's what it looked like when we painted it live. So, you know, but I also painted it on a printout. This is the printout that I did that became the cover. So I printed it on a piece of paper from this document. So I was testing the document. I printed the document one page. I printed this page up big on one image on the page. And look at that. Isn't it pretty? And that was on watercolor paper. So you can print directly on watercolor paper with many printers. If it will let you do cardstock, it will let you do like probably up to about 140-pound watercolor paper. You just have to hand feed it. So the cup with the brushes, that was last Friday. Here's today. Tomorrow is going to be the French press and a cup. And you know, you'll find after the fact that some of your things might be a little wonky. This cup is a little wonky, and that's okay. Even though it's in a coloring book that's published and people are out there downloading and using, I think that it adds to that charm. Then we've got our teapot with the macarons coming up. So yeah. Oh, the little elephant teapot. That was a direct request. And then the kitty cat's coming too. So those are all things coming up. Make sure to click that link and download the 30 cozy creative hand-drawn designs to print and color. And if you don't have a printer, you can go to Amazon, the link is down below, and purchase the 30 Cozy Creative Designs coloring book. And I have a brand new coming out really soon, a reader's log on Amazon. So a reading log book with the first picture of this. This is the cover. The painted version of this is the cover of the reader's log. I thought that would be kind of cool because it's got the iPad and it's got a book and the cup and yeah. Oh, okay, last thing. And if you want to do some Valentines, I did do a mini marathon of 6 Valentines, and we drew them and we painted them. These are all painted versions of the ones that I hand drew during the show. And it is a downloadable book on Teespring also. And you can print these out as a book and just send that to somebody as a gift so that they can color. Or you can print them out individually as 2 sheets on watercolor paper, and then you can paint them up. All right, all of the advertising is done, except that I'll show you that's what it looks like when you print it on watercolor paper. So fun. All right, things have dried now. I can go in and start putting some colors. Ah, well, that is cool, Brandy, that the elephant teapot reminds you of a set that you had when you were a kid. Yeah, it took a little bit. There was a lot of prompting for that teapot all the way along through, and it was one of the getting closer to the end of the day when I did it. I think we are going to go in and get that red going on that cup, and it's sort of an orangish red, so I think I'm going to take some permanent scarlet and kind of wipe off my spot here a little. Just get a little water. Permanent scarlet. Ooh, that is just about the exact color, isn't it? So we're going to base coat with permanent scarlet. I am not going to get this wet beforehand, so there might be some overlapping of color. I'm just going to color it in, just straight coloring. Now, with the bamboo paper, the fibers do lift up while it is wet, but then, and see how it gets that kind of, it looks kind of fibery and almost like I've worked that paper too much already, but I haven't. And those fibers will lay flat back down when it dries. So I'm just getting this down here around the flower more. I need to pick up more paint. Cool thing is we're going to draw with that white pen and just trace those pattern lines right at the end. So we need to get it painted in so it can be really dry. You don't want to draw on it when it is even slightly damp. You want it to be really dry. This is mixed media paper. It's 90% cotton and 90% bamboo and 10% cotton. And it's about 125 pounds. It's 265 GSM. And it's the Hanamula. There we go. Hello, Kismex. Welcome. I love that you guys are so friendly here. I love that you guys are taking care of each other, and I love the kindness that we show to each other here. You just really, really brighten my day. I'm looking at that going, I want it to be a deeper tone in the shadow, but it can be lighter in the highlight space, right? So I can just start putting some of these deeper tones down closer to the flower. And it's just the same paint. all I did was get a little bit more concentrated version of the same color on my brush. I did not add as much water to it. But I'm building my shadows up. So I'm going to start leaving some areas here with the highlight and allowing it to soften out. There we go. And right here, I'm going to pick up. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just taking a slightly dampish, not fresh paper towel. I'm getting it wet right here, and boom. Just slightly damp. Making it a little bit lighter right in that space by touching it and lifting. I see right down here, there's kind of a reflected highlight. So I'm picking up, I picked up a little bit more of the paint, but I dabbed it. So now there's a little bit of a highlight below that reflection. And when we put those lines over the top of this, it's all going to draw together. Take care, Miss Amy. Take care. Have fun. Enjoy your day. And whenever you come in and watch, guys, and whenever you leave, just remember, I'm always wishing you the best, happiest days, creative times, finding things that make you happy and feel cozy. I'm going to let that cup sit for now. I'm looking at that going, that's good. Maybe I will come in and put a tiny touch of burnt sienna, a little bit stronger, in the teacup. So it feels like maybe there's a little bit of light and shadow. So the shadow line is like right up at the top edge where it is connecting. You've never done watercolor before? You just bought a Hemi gouache set? Oh, yeah. So I have the Hemi gouache set, and I'm seriously, let's see, the pink teapot is possible with the, I think I've already done one painting. Guys, which painting did I do that used the Hemi gouache? I've already done one painting this month with the Hemi gouache. I do have a little review video of them. Hi, Marianthe. Hello, Uncle Dan. That's either Mr. Sheep or Mrs. Heap. One way or the other. Hello and welcome. And Carmen. Yay. Oh, guys, this is so much fun. I am letting that dry now. I'm letting the tea dry. I think I'll start putting in the green leaves now. So let's get those green leaves in. And let's zoom in on that for a second. So you can see these leaves are lovely, very fresh. They have a nice sort of very, well, they're very natural green, but they're also, they have a very, a kind of a brightness to them. So I'm going to try and figure out where I can set that so we can, I'm going to grab a little bit of the cad yellow and a little bit of the, let's see what the, that makes a grayed out blue, the cad yellow and the ultramarine blue, and because I tapped into the ultramarine when I wanted the phthalo. So cad yellow and phthalo blue. And, oh, and I have sap green. Oh, let's just go sap green. I forgot that I had sap green on here. Ooh, come on. Give me some sap green. So we're going to go cad yellow first, and the nickel azo yellow. And I'm going to put that bright yellow in, out on the tips of my green leaves. Because the light is hitting them, I want that light. The nice thing about the green is that it contrasts really nice with the red. So yeah, there we go. So now I just went and I didn't pick up more paint. Did you notice? I rinsed my brush out, and then I'm going to have to make that smaller. That's just driving me nuts that it's so big. There we go. So now I dried my brush off and rinsed it, dried it. Now it's picking up some of that paint. I'm moving the paint around. I'm trying to not get too wet right up here next to the cup yet, because I want to make sure that that has enough chance to dry. Moving this color around. So I didn't want to add more pigment there. I just wanted to move that color around. It's my base color for the underside, underneath of these leaves, so that it feels more natural. Because now I'm going to take some of that sap green and mix it with the phthalo blue and yellow that we had right here. I'm working on top of a piece of plastic board called Coroplast, C-O-R-O-P-L-A-S-T. It makes a really nice surface to tape your artwork down onto, because it is plastic and very lightweight, unbreakable. You can shove it in your backpack. You can cut it with scissors or a craft knife. You don't have to have a saw. It's not glass, it's plastic. It does stain. A magic eraser does clean it up some, but it will stain, and you can bend. It's just like corrugated cardboard. See, I'm just dropping some of that color down and thinking, well, let's see. I want to leave some random spots where the light could be hitting a little bit on that. And then I'm going to come down here. These leaves are still wet with that base coat, so this color is blending in. It's becoming a softer part of the leaf. It's not, boom, look, I just painted a line. Now over here, it's a little bit harsher. Miguelina, welcome. Oh, yeah. Miguelina, yes. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that Linda shared with you. I hope that you're happy that you're here. And so now I'm just softening up some of that. Softening up some of those little highlighty bits. Letting it get a little darker back underneath the edge of the flower. And also not being too worried. See, I'm lightening that up a lot because I want to go and grab just a bit more of the cadmium yellow, bright yellow, be like a lemon yellow, or a primrose yellow, more primrose, if that's the kind of colors that you're working with. A little bit more of that sap green now. I'm just working my way around and just putting some darker shadows in now. Right underneath the edge. Right underneath the edge. Maybe there's a bit of light shining down in, but maybe not. I'm going to take that green all the way back into that flower. Where the two leaves overlap, the bottom leaf is going to be more shadowed. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome. Yeah, guys, I'm so glad you're making it here. You know, taking time to do something kind for yourself, taking time to make something pretty is always good. Always good. I'm just kind of putting texture on that leaf now. I'm just dropping some of that darker green, but not... These leaves are very smooth. You don't really see the veining in these leaves. So they have sort of a mottled texture, an in and out texture to them. But they're pretty smooth. Putting a shadow in where that petal is, maybe even a little bit darker. I'm just grabbing some more of the sap green and kind of mixing it in. And dropping it in, just getting some more shadow in there. But yeah, doing things like this really help your brain. They help calm you. At least they help me. How about this? They have the potential for calming you. It's all up to your choice in if you want something to calm you down and you say doing this will do that, it will. Our brains are very suggestible. If we tell them that something that we want to do is good for us, it will give you even more of a benefit from it. So I like that. I like that leaf. This one up top is a little bit blah. I think that it maybe needs a little bit more blue. So that's the phthalo blue. And I'm looking at that going a little bit here. So this was what I was meaning by if you do marker art, because people who do marker art, you know about layering, or you learn layering pretty fast to get new colors, to use like a limited handful of colors, but then make it into all the colors. Adding just a little bit of blue to it made it a little bit different tone. And now I can go in and drop a little bit of water on here and just dab. Look at that. Drop a little bit of water and then give it a quick dab. And now you're getting all of those variations of color without sitting there for an hour trying to get them to blur in. Now, I just dropped some water on here, and that was probably not the best choice because these colors, now I got it wet, I have to get the whole thing wet. And the reason why is because these colors will bloom and separate. That's part of the core paint. They do that. The volume seems kind of low on your end. Here, I can bump it up just a little bit. We'll try that. I just turned up the gain a little bit. I'm also, talking kind of softly and calmly, and so sometimes that also I'm kind of chill. But I am having fun and I am enjoying my time. I'm going to dry that and we'll see what those leaves look like. So this is just a heat tool. You can use a hair dryer, anything to dry the paint off, get it so that you can move on to your next step. We're going to put in the color on the flower and then we will do the white pen doodling on the cup. And we'll be pretty much getting closer to the finish line. Wow. Okay, so let's see. Gotta let it cool now. Cool down, cool down. So I'm looking at this going, the flower. So that flower, I'm going to come down here below and use this area of my board to do the mixing of some color for my flower. So I'm going to put some of that. Ooh, actually, maybe I'll just do it right here. Ah, we can do that. So That's the diosmine purple. And this is the quinacridone magenta. And those are my two colors that I'm going to use for that flower. So I'm just going to kind of set it like this so you can see. I'm going to use that magenta color first and give these petals a quick little bit of color. I do want it to blue up a little bit, but I want this as sort of my undertone. I want the magenta color here to be kind of the undertone. And it is a dirty magenta because I did put it right onto my palette that had some other color. So a little bit dirty magenta. A little bit more natural, actually. Isn't that pretty? I like that. And I'm going in and I'm being patchy on purpose, because that leaves me room to do some other stuff. Now down in the very center is actually kind of yellowy orange where the stamens are. I'm just going to drop some yellow in there. All right. So minus 33 degrees with wind chill. Oh, Debbie, that is cold. That is cold. I'm taking some of that diosmine purple and mixing it into my magenta now. And I'm going to put that and just dropping it onto the wet paint and letting it sort of bleed around a little bit. It's my next tone. It's not the darkest color, but it's giving me more variation. If it goes over some of those white areas, that's okay. The paint is still, the pink or magenta color is still wet. So now I've just made it even more wet. Adding more of this, the purple and pink together. I left a rim of white around that yellow. So there's a rim of dry paper around the yellow. So it's not mixing with any of my purple. As long as I don't get any water down in that area, it's not going to mix. And if you look at the reference, this down in here bit is more light, is more white. I will probably go back in and lift after things have dried a little bit. But I do want to get more of that darker purple now. And I'm working all of the petals all together at the same time to get the basic colors in. When I want some more detail, I will work on petals away from each other. But for now, I'm just going to see what I get when I do it this way. And that's part of the experimenting, and that's part of the fun of doing watercolor, is that you can play with it. And even though people say you shouldn't do things that are next to each other when they are wet, I say I need to find out why I shouldn't do it that way, and if it's a hard and fast rule or if it is a suggestion. Most things in art are suggestions. I mean, there's a few things that are hard and fast rules. Don't burn paint. Don't burn your paint. It can release toxic chemicals and things like that that can cause brain damage. But using a hot dryer, it can cause color shift, but it's not going to, your painting isn't going to explode if you use a hot air blower. So, and it's not going to off gas and things like that. This is watercolor, and watercolor is basically just pigment in a binder of some kind. I'm just working more of that almost straight dazzling purple now. See how we're getting that to feel even more depth. And how I left some of those little sparks of white. I like that. I like that. There we go. And now I'm taking some of that super dark out here on the edges. Hello, Letitia. Welcome. You had to charcoal briquettes under the oil pan in Montana. Oh, the winter of 78, 79. I think that one was really, that was one of our really snowy winters when I was a little kid too. Here in Washington State. I think it was 78, 79, but it was in the 70s. I remember walking outside in my little rubber boots and the snow going over the top of the boots. Because my pants were tucked inside the boots, of course. You know, because you didn't want snow going up your pant leg. But when I would step down, the snow went way above my little boots. And I had bright red ones. My next sister had bright yellow. And my littlest sister, I can't remember what color she had. Actually, she was my littlest sister at the time. Or youngest sister at the time. Because at that point, there were 4 kids at that point. So there, ooh, I like that. I want that purple to be even darker. So touch and just taking the straight pigment as straight as I can. I just went a little bit darker right down, but not going all the way to that center bit still. Because then it's naturally making that center look a little bit lighter. Just naturally doing it. Oh, wow. But putting briquettes underneath of your car to heat the oil pan up because it's gotten so cold, that's a brutal winter. All right. And now I'm going to soften it out around the edges. See, this paint is so nice. And this paper just releases the paint so well. You can lift, you could probably go in and do a photoreal painting on here, I think. I won't, but somebody could. Just softening up those shadows. Oh, so pretty. All right, let's back this up and let's see how it's looking. Now, I made mine a little bit darker. I think I want some of that magenta without any other color in my brush. All the pop blew up in the pantry. Oh my gosh, because it got so cold. Oh, there, look. Pop up that color a little bit. Make it a little bit more pinky purple. I like that. Oh, that's so pretty. Maybe right into that. Oh, So lovely. And now we're going to take that wadded up paper towel. Boom. That was cool. I like that. I think maybe a little touch of an orangey color on the inside of that stamen area. So I'm just grabbing the, it is upside down, I cannot read it, the Pyrrole orange. Just a touch. To give it more of an orange tone down inside. I think that is looking awesome. Oh, and, well, whoops, sorry, went the wrong way. I just splashed paint on here. And some folks might say, oh no, that's terrible. And look at this. Boom. Actually, I might do a little bit more. Just get it wet, put a tiny bit of that pink. I know some people don't like the splashies. I'm not going to be leaving them that bright. What I'm going to do though, see, I've got them on there. I'm going to give it a quick spritz. See how they started to blur out some? And then, there we go. This is just an eyeglass sprayer, so it's a fine mist sprayer. Then I'm going to take my paper towel. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to lightly blot. So it's just giving me some texture in the background. It's not a super bright. Yeah, I got a little bit of the spray on my leaf, and my leaf started blurring out a little bit, and I didn't want it, so I just dabbed it. So now we've got that sort of soft glow going on in the background. I want to dry this completely, and we're going to do, well, actually, no, before I dry it completely, a small splash of purple paint. Oh, yeah. I like that. So I'm just picking up some of that purple, the sort of purple magenta-y color. Just giving it a little tappity tap. And a little spritz. I think I'm not going to blot those off either. That's so pretty. Thank you, Dee Dee, for that. It is an awesome suggestion. I'm going to dry this really quick so I don't put my hand through it. And thank you guys so much for that. I love that this is a community that shares ideas and suggestions. You guys sharing your ideas and suggestions just makes my paintings even better. I like that. Oh, that is so pretty. It's kind of like reflecting the purple from that flower. I want a little bit more shadow in the cup right here. And that's one of the things you see as you're doing your painting. You'll see areas that need a little bit more punch. Needs to be a little bit punchier. So I'm going to grab some of that scarlet red again. And I think I'm going to take a touch of the cadmium red. And that's going to just deepen it up just a bit. And looking at that, there's kind of going to be a bit more of a glow of a shadow, like right there. And right there. There's kind of a bit more of a shadow coming up. I'm just sort of looking along here going, but then there's kind of I want to have a little bit of a reflection of the napkin too. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the paint down, I'm dabbing it off, and then I will soften those edges. There we go. And you can soften those edges, see? And remember, we are putting the white on top for the pattern. So I'm getting these edges wet, and then I'm going to blot again. And now the paper is slightly damp, so when I put that darker tone in there, it's actually going to just bleed up into that damp paper. I like that better. Thank you! The shadow for the cup! I forgot the shadow for the cup. See? There's a reason why you guys are here. I am going to grab just some of that Payne's Gray. I just dropped it down here. We have a very soft shadow for the cup right here, and it's kind of coming in and onto the napkin. And because the napkin is a wobbly piece of fabric, how's that? We've got a little bit of a shadow. And that shadow is a little bit different color, isn't it? And that's okay. I'm going to maybe soften the edge of that just a little bit. There we go. And there is a shadow out here, and so that needs to be in my, I need a little bit of that quinacridone gold and the burnt sienna, and maybe just a touch of Van Dyke brown and some burnt umber, and then a touch of phthalo blue. Ooh, not too much. Not too much. Get it, some of the Payne's Gray in there too. A little bit more of the gold. Oh, there, we're getting a nice kind of murky, shadowy brown. Right down here. That little bit darker shadow. And then we'll soften it out. See? That's what we do. That's what we do. Soften the shadow out. And blot. Ha! I like it. See? Thank you. My community is awesome. I'm going to take a little bit of that and put a little bit of that shadow color right down here under the leaf also. It's making us feel like this is, you know, part of a real scene. We're just zoomed in, so we don't know exactly. You know, maybe this is on a fun tablecloth or something. I don't know. It's just a scene. It's just a scene. We're making a scene. Maybe a touch of the kind of grayed out, just a little bit on the inside of the cup right there. And I will use a little touch of white gouache. This is the Arteza white gouache. Just, I mean, tiny touch, just a dab. I'm not even using that much. I see in my cup, there's kind of an extra highlight in the T right there. Oops, that's a little thick. And there's a little bit of a highlight right around that top edge of it. Boom, boom, boom. Just, I could have done that with a pen. And now I'm just going to soften that just a slight bit, so it doesn't look quite so bright. I'm saying that it's shining in there, but it's not. Not so bright, not so harsh. That's good. Dry this off. We are going to use our pen, and I've just got my Signo Uniball UM153, and that's what I'm going to use to draw right over the top of the watercolor. But I'm going to dry off the paint that's around it. On the board, so I don't put my hand in it. I'm going to dry. This cup here doesn't have a handle. It's really nice. The many of the Japanese type teacups or Chinese teacups, if you go to a Chinese food or Japanese food type restaurant, you will get the cup that is just a round cup without any handle. So this one didn't have a handle, but yes, it's always, if you don't want to mess with a handle, turn your cup around so the handle is away from you and you don't have to draw the handle. There we go. Hello, Kristen. Oh, hey, thanks, Harlan. Yeah, guys, click that subscribe button and, you know, that notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos come up. And you know, if you like what you see, share it with your friends. I'm testing this pen out here. Make sure that it's running well off your paper. And I can see through the watercolor. Yeah, I can see through the watercolor. And just as a by the way, this is what we're doing. We're just putting white lines on top of the pattern that we drew at the beginning. So I drew it at the beginning. You can certainly check that out. I'm going to zoom in. So maybe you'll be able to see a little bit of that pattern as I'm going. You can kind of see the pencil lines through the paint. So I'm just going to get up on top of it here, and I'm drawing on my pencil lines. As best as I can see. I'm putting a diamond pattern on. I'm not putting the hexagon pattern. And we drew it all at the beginning, curving around the cup, all of those fun things. And, whoops, no, that's right. Oh, fiddlesticks. I was doing the dots on the intersections. See? Now, this is something that you don't usually get with pen, right? Look at that. I can get those all wet. Yeah, some of them were in the correct places, but I was feeling like I was putting things in the wrong place. So, back up, erase, start again. I could put this on with a brush if I wanted to. So I guess I'm not putting the dot on the intersections. I am putting them in the middle of the boxes. Who did that? Oh, you can show it to me.
You had it in the middle.
I did have it in the middle. Yeah, thank you. Mark just ran the video back and showed me what I was doing. This is the Signo Uniball UM153. It is the broad tip round white. It is a pigment ink. When it's dry, it's not water removable, but when it's wet, it's water removable. So, indeed, it is diamonds and the dots are going in the middles. I'm just going to put the diamonds on first, and then I will come back and put the dots on. I think that's what was throwing me off. I like how opaque this pen is. How it shows up really nicely on top of other colors. Like that. This could be, you could have a very tribal pattern. You can have, diamond grids. You're in control of how your diamond grid looks, If you don't like it, you can change it up. And I'm going to put my dots in. And then I'm going to see if there's something else I want to do, because I'm feeling like this is a little strong. Strong meaning it's very bright. See a little bit of the dot off that one, a little bit of the dot down here. Maybe once I get my dots sort of wrapping around, it'll feel better. I kind of went off a little funny. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to dry it really quick, and then I'm going to take a little bit of my red, and I'm going to go in and put a bit of a shadow line underneath, so it feels like maybe it's embossed on the cup. That will make it feel better. And because my lines, I guess maybe if I fix that one, and fix that one. See, you can go in and fix them. I want that one coming down a little bit. There we go. And that one you're not even going to really see. Fix your lines. Just make sure that if you're doing this with your watercolor brush, that you rinse your brush and that you get all the paint out of your brush. So just like that one right there, I'm not happy with that line. Boom. That's why this is not Zentangle, guys. Let's dry it real quick so that I can go draw that other line back in. There. Just wanted that line a little bit straighter. You're painting your rules. Nobody else can tell you you're doing it right or wrong. It's like that one, I want my line to be a little thicker, I guess. I might even come in here and put a little bit of that white right down around the center of that flower. And kind of coming up on the edge of some of those petals. Oh, yes. See? Your painting, your rules. Unless you're in school and your teacher is telling you you're supposed to do it a certain way, your painting, your rules. Putting a little bit more of that white, like that. You can smudge this. You could do it with a Posca pen. I'm going to take a little bit of the Cad Red right over the top of that purple. Because this is a color that's already been used, the purple is in the painting, the Cad Red is in the painting. I'm going to use that as my little shadow. Kind of make that feel like it's an embossed line. I'm going all along one direction, and then I'll come back and go the other direction. But not all the way. Look at that. Soft. It's subtle. It's not in your face. Maybe a little bit coming back this corner. No, maybe not, because I've got that color underneath. Not the coming back on that corner. See? Didn't like something that I started doing? I can change it. Little bit, little bit, little bit. This one here is coming down. There we go. There. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Oh, I like that slightly darker right at the very tip. Boom, right there. See? You see something you like, tell yourself you like it, say it out loud, because your brain responds to auditory cues. So when somebody says they like something, your brain goes, ooh, and it marks that moment. Ooh, whatever I did just then. Somebody liked what I did just then. I got a response. I got a reward. My reward was the positive praise. Okay? It's just like when they are training a dolphin to do something. They use a whistle to mark the moment. It's called clicker training. And it's a real thing. They clicker train horses, they clicker train people, they clicker, you can clicker train your kids. It's real interesting. I've seen teachers use it in classrooms. And it's amazing the difference between, oh, that looks so pretty. I like that. I like that kind of quilted. Hello, Estrella. Estrella? Estrella or Estrella was what one of my teachers when I took Spanish in high school that I don't remember. I remember high school. I just don't remember what I learned in Spanish because it was the very basic beginning Spanish class. But he gave all of us a different name to use in class, and mine was Estrella. And that's a pretty name. So look at that, guys. All right, we're going to sign it, and I just have to find my pen. I want to sign it someplace where it's not going to get too much in the way. I think maybe I'll sign it right along the edge of that cloth napkin. It's going to look kind of like a little tag sticking out. Somebody wanted to know what I'm signing when I'm signing it. So here, I'll zoom in. It's just SB, because those are my initials. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing my S first, and then I'm just putting another bump on the bottom for the B, so they're overlapped. And then I'm putting a little double box around it. Just like that. I mean, it's nothing really, big and fancy, but it's something. Estrella. Yeah, I know. But sometimes when you're you're only catching a third of the thing and you're trying to remember how things are pronounced way back in the way back. Yeah. I love how the cup turned out also. Yes. All right, we're going to pull the tape off because I know that's what a lot of people are here for. They like to see the tape pull off. The tape is coming off very nicely because we have already heated this up a couple different times, drying the background, drying the paint, and that melts the adhesive, softens it. There we go. Get that lifted up and get that out of the way. So there we go, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, there are lots of lessons already done that go with the 30 cozy and creative designs that we've done all month. So you could get it as a softback coloring book, all 30 designs, and a little special preview of a different book at the very back. And that's in the Amazon. And then this is the instant download that is available. All of the designs, including today's. Fun. So this is what we started with, and this is what we ended with. I think that's pretty cool, guys. What do you think? Are you excited? Are you happy? I am. Wow. So you can see that you can take a very simple basic design and you can add whatever you want to it to make it much more special. And don't forget, there's also, with all my heart, the Creative Hearts Full of Flowers, Creative Hearts Mini, 6 Valentine cards that you can download and color, print, and have fun. That's on Teespring. And it's very inexpensive. Have fun. Enjoy it. And hey Taylor, Brandy, the emojis that are all fun like you're doing, sometimes they don't go through. I'm sorry, but yeah. Thank you guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and we will be back with a coffee press. Thank you, and remember, go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. I want to see you back here real soon.